Electric vehicles have become an increasingly common sight around the world, and it's no exception here in South Korea. With a growing preference for eco-friendly spending and the development of EV infrastructure, the electric car market is projected to grow even faster this year. We have our economic correspondent Shin Ha-young here in the studio for details. Welcome, Ha-young.
Great to be here, Jung-min.
So, before we talk about this year's EV market, could you walk us through the last year's output? How did electric vehicles perform in 2022?
Well, Jung-min, despite the global economic slowdown, the sales of electric vehicles were strong enough to take up about 10% of all new cars that were globally sold in 2022. According to data released by auto industry researchers LMC Automotive, global sales reached 7.8 million units, showing an impressive on-year increase of 68%. This was mainly due to solid growth in China and Europe. And data released by South Korea's Transport Ministry shows that the country closely matches the global trend, with the total number of electric vehicles registered in the country reaching 390,000, which is up 68.4% from the previous year, while registration of gasoline cars only rose by 2.6%. So with a growing preference for eco-friendly spending, sales of electric cars are expected to increase. And global sales are predicted to see an average increase of 33% a year until 2030. For this year, about 12.8 million new electric vehicles are expected to be registered worldwide, taking up about 16% of all newly registered vehicles. And for South Korea, demand in 2023 is expected to hit 200,000 vehicles.
All right. Now, what matters seem to be related infrastructure if it's no match for an increasing number of electric cars. So, how is this country faring in terms of infrastructure, like charging stations?
Right, that's a good point, Jung-min. Well, South Korea is in pretty good shape when it comes to the ratio of electric cars to charging points. According to the International Energy Agency, in South Korea, there's one charging point for every 2.6 electric vehicles. And that's far better than one charger per 7.2 vehicles in China or 15.5 EVs in Europe. However, further development of EV infrastructure is still needed for the country to boost its electric car market.
Because Koreans tend to prefer a fast-paced lifestyle, EV owners want fast chargers. The government will continue to expand the supply of those chargers, and private firms are already actively entering this charging business. This is expected to gradually ease any inconveniences for consumers.
There is still a lack of charging infrastructure and a high risk of fire that puts people off buying EVs. Using gas stations or public facilities by relaxing regulations could be a way to establish more charging points.
Then, Ha-young, how is the government responding to these struggles? What measures does it have in mind?
Well, the government has decided to offer different levels of subsidies for EV buyers based on the level of after-service provided by automaker. And last week, South Korea's Environment Ministry and related ministry announced reformed rules on subsidies that they say will increase the supply of EV infrastructure and service centers. And according to the new rules, full subsidies will be given to buyers of cars from automakers that operate customer service centers and an online data management system for maintenance records. However, there will be a cut in subsidies for buyers of cars from automakers that run their service centers through a partner in South Korea. So this means that most foreign automakers will likely suffer a subsidy cut as they don't have a direct management store in South Korea.
China is not giving subsidies unless Chinese-made batteries are installed. The same goes for the US Inflation Reduction Act. In general, EV subsidy policies usually protect domestic industries. Subsidy policy has been revised to bring benefits, not harm, to consumers and protect South Korea's industry at the same time.
The government has also raised the price ceiling of EV subsidies by 2 million Korean won, or roughly $1,600 US. So as a result, vehicles under 57 million won, or around $45,000, will be able to receive the full subsidy.
All right, Ha-young, thanks for your report today.
My pleasure.